Hey, I'm Spenser.
I'm Britton.
And I'm Breck.
Since 2011, Buckethead has released 293 albums in his Pikes series, and we're going to listen to them
3 at a time.
This is Getting Head. Buckethead.
Welcome, head-getters, slunks, slogs, frogs, dogs, boss hogs, and bucketheads.
I got a boss hog.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure it's a boss because it's oppressive and underpays people.
Whoa, spicy.
This is episode 59 of Gettin Head, a Bucketcast.
I got nothing for 59, but we got a special guest today.
Wait, 59, actually, I'm not even going to try. 59 sucks. 59 is a shit number. Let's be honest.
It's not great. It's great.
It's probably the worst number since, 45? It's pretty bad.
Yeah, 45 is also pretty bad. Hey, Breck, what's your least favorite number from 1 to 60?
Yeah.
57.
Fair.
57 sucks too. It feels too prime.
Yeah, too prime. I feel like that's what I think too.
No, it's not prime. It's not prime. It's divisible by 3. Here. Not a prime.
I can't make that stuff.
How is it?
19. 19 by 3.
Nice
math.
Quick
math.
Wow, that was.
I actually had that prepared. That's the research. That's the only research I did for this episode.
You're like, just in case somebody makes a joke about the number 57, I'm ready to go. It's not prime, baby.
Have that one in the barrel, baby.
Locked and loaded. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, so we are joined by a special guest today, Breck.
AKA Cool Shrek Memes, Cool Shrek. You've seen their memes everywhere on Instagram.
Hello.
Yeah, you've seen
definitely
those
seen
Twitter screenshots.
You can't avoid me.
That's definitely a heavily screenshotted person among my New York
Indeed.
Scene, New York, mostly New York gay friends, but
scene legend, Cool Shrek.
New York punk scene meme legend.
Pretty good. So, what did you do to get here?
Good question.
Why are you being punished like this?
Okay. Well, I have had my meme page for 4 years, but it blew up during the pandemic because no one had anything better to do. And
that's true.
That's how I earned this position here on the Bucketcast. So I can thank, I can thank coronavirus.
A real rags to riches story. Truly living the American dream.
Like if someone told you 2 years ago that eventually you'd be guesting on a kind of somewhat listened to Buckethead podcast and forced to listen to 3 noise albums to do it, what would you say? Would you be like, me? That's a real Tim Allen.
Unfortunately, I wouldn't. I would have been like, yeah, that tracks.
Okay,
nice.
So this was really just part of
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Excellent.
You got to aim for the stars, otherwise you'll.
Yeah, totally.
Aim
if somebody
for
told me, there you go.
It's a step on your road to stardom.
Indeed.
Next up,
that's
comedy
baby.
Seller, it's.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If somebody told me 2 years ago that I would be 59 episodes into a podcast about Buckethead,
even though it was your idea about 2 years ago,
my idea, I would be like, "You're fucking with me." That's no way. But here we are. We've lived. We've learned.
We've listened to a lot of Buckethead albums.
Choosy moms choose Jif, and here we are.
Is that really true?
No.
Is Jif... I feel like Adams is the MILF peanut butter.
Adams is the MILF peanut butter.
Right.
Or what about the store peanut butter where you go to the store and you can grind the crank and
yeah, MILF step. So I when I worked at the co-op, all of the MILFs did the hand cranked honey butter.
You ever
The honey peanut butter.
You ever watch that happen? Watch the cranking happen.
Yeah, I fucking hide in the shadows and masturbate while they're doing it.
You have to watch that.
Why else would I be working at a fucking grocery store, Spenser?
I'm a pervert. Of course,
Come on.
Yeah, exactly. You ever jerked off in a walk-in freezer?
No. Actually, so like, I've jerked off at like a lot of jobs I've had. I've had a lot of jobs.
It's a really welcoming conversation to invite new people into.
Like, I've actually like never jerked off. No, I have in the restaurant industry, but never in a walk-in freezer, no. Or in a grocery store in a walk-in freezer, no. I've worked around a lot of walk-in freezers. I've cried in a few of them.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's cried in a freezer.
But
like
given if I was jerking off, I would also be crying as one does. So,
is there like a temperature where you can't jerk off anymore? Like how?
That's a good point.
Well, we grew
up
in Alaska, so not
wow.
For us. Like,
okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's
we
true.
Alaska boys.
Yeah,
Alaska boys. We do it chili style. Mm-hmm. That's what we call the chili dog, baby.
The chili hog. Pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't experienced that yet, but also like typically the times in which like I'm naked outside and it is cold, I'm very much not trying to be there.
True.
So I don't know. Like the coldest I think I've ever been is like back in the day. I used to hang out in Brit's parents' hot tub. This was in Alaska. They had a hot tub that was outside, which was like really cool in the winter because you get like snowflakes fall in and you're like in the hot tub, you're hitting bongs and chilling, and it's a good time, but like the trek from the hot tub back into the house is treacherous.
Oh, I mean that like 12 feet, there's like it's just 4 meters of absolute punishment,
absolute misery. Yeah, for sure, really hard. Yeah. Anyways, hey, your name is Breck.
Yeah. But by the way, the answer is 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Anyway, your name is Breck.
Which is funny because like when I told Brit that I was like going to ask you to be a guest, Brit was like, "Nah, their name makes me uncomfortable," and I was like, "No," and I was like, "That makes sense."
Let me explain this. So, when I was growing up, my brother's name is Beck. And I'm Brit, right?
Okay.
And so, like, in daycare and, like, in campfire, in elementary school, whenever we were together around shitty little kids, they would always call both of us Breck.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, what? Why? That's not funny and it doesn't make any sense. And, like, so it's something I'm like, that's stupid. And I just put it out of my mind. But then, like, Spenser mentioned trying to get you as a guest. I'm like, I want to try to get Breck on. And I'm like, that's a name? I thought that was an insult.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no. Yeah. So no offense, but your name is mildly triggering. So trigger warning, our guest today is Breck.
Wow.
Just for me and my brother, who might listen to this.
Wow, look at that.
Maybe this is a new beginning for you.
Maybe this is working through my trauma.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I consider podcast working, but I'm broadcasting through my trauma.
It's cathartic, I think.
Yeah.
I think we're here to turn a new leaf for you, Brit.
Yeah.
We're here to make expressions of feelings and familiarity, and just make things happen somewhere. You must have a name that people get wrong a lot, like, right?
Yeah.
Like people get my name wrong a lot, and I'm Spenser.
Yeah, but your Spenser like is in Spenser for hire, not
That's
as
true.
in Spenser's Gifts.
Yes,
totally different Spensers.
Different Spensers.
100%. Yeah. But yeah, how do people get your name wrong? Are they just afraid to be like Breck?
Most common is Brett.
Oh yeah, I bet.
And I usually don't notice if someone's calling me Brett. So I'll have people like years into knowing me be like, "Oh, I thought your name was Brett for the last 3 years." I get Brock.
Brock, that's a good one.
Also, this one is weird. I get Greg. I'm like, Greg. I don't know if I say my name poorly.
Like, is it as in old Greg? Like
I'm like, hey, I'm Breck, and they're like, Greg, and I'm like, yes.
Nice.
I mean, is this like at punk shows? We're like, what's your name? Greg?
No, like normal. I also like respond to almost any one syllable word if you yell it. Like I've been out in public and responded to dad.
And somebody's like, rock.
Yes,
and you're like,
dad.
hey, what's up?
Yeah. So honestly, I honestly respond to like anything with the syllable written. Because nothing has it. So the Kyle Rittenhouse trial.
Oh my God.
A fucking nightmare for me.
Oh no.
I'm like, what did I do wrong? Oh, okay. Shit.
Well, you've done a lot wrong. But
that's
we'll
true.
cover that later.
But nothing with a gun, all right? Nothing with a gun.
Nice. Oh man, that's rough. Yeah, one I've gotten a few times, like when I'm getting coffee at a place or whatever, and they ask your name. Like I've gotten Austin a few times. I'm like, yeah. I don't know how you get that, but okay. All right, I'll take it. Somebody had a really good one. I forgot it. Doesn't matter.
I get Brit a lot too, Brit, so we get each other's names.
Brit? Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't ever gotten Breck unless it was like a shitty little kid trying to bully
children,
me and my brother at the same time. Which is a very specific situation.
It certainly is.
I haven't encountered for like 25 years, but is still there in the back of my mind. So when I heard Breck, I'm like,
the scars remain.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
In the words of Metallica, the memories remain.
Yeah.
From Reload.
Speaking of Metallica, we do need to shout out the dude that made the Lars Ulrich Toilet. Because
he also made the skeleton guitar.
I had no idea it was the same guy that did the skeleton guitar.
Like legendary motherfucker.
Legend shit right there.
Let's get him on the podcast.
Oh my God. I will try. Yeah.
He is an interesting person. No matter what we do, he's going to be interesting to talk to.
100%. Yeah.
I don't even care if he's funny. No, he is. Like, How can
dude made a Lars Ulrich toilet
and a guitar out of like his uncle's skeleton.
That fucking rules.
That's beyond awesome. Like, that dude's fucking heavy metal. More heavy metal than
I will
three of us
ever be.
Combined
Yeah, than I will ever be.
Hope to be.
Yeah, and like I'm pretty metal. Like I got the 4-sided long sleeve on right now. Or sorry, 3-sided. This is a 3-sided long sleeve. I didn't mean to steal any valor there.
You stole some real war metal valor there.
Stealing war metal valor is a great concept.
It's Thanksgiving.
It is Thanksgiving. We're doing a special Thanksgiving cast.
This is
Happy Thanksgiving.
Lonely Hearts Club here, hanging out with no family, no friends. Well, I guess
to be fair, you and I hang out on every Thanksgiving, so like
and
we have for the last 15 years. So
to be fair, technically we're friends.
So technically,
a big technicality. But
yeah, you should only be worried about me.
It's
the wild card in the situation.
You're in New York, and there's something mysterious and like almost sexy about that. Like you could be doing real stuff right now.
Yeah,
alone on Thanksgiving. We're in Seattle.
It's just like raining. Like it's not even cool.
Yeah,
it's just normal.
Yeah.
Pretty whack, actually.
It's fine.
But yeah, no, it's been fun to have a day off of work, even though it's my regular day off of work. So
that sucks.
Yeah, I just have a normal weekend.
But wait, they probably they either pay you or give you an extra day off,
I'm getting paid today.
Okay, that's good.
So I'm getting paid full 8 hours of work for not working, so that's all right.
I love that.
Could be worse.
Oh, and I bet it's probably going to be all overtime too, because you're working all other 5 days of the week, no?
Yeah, actually, I don't know if it works like that.
Or at least the 6th day you work this week will be overtime. So
correct.
If you work Saturday, it'll be overtime.
Well, I don't work another day this week, unfortunately.
Oh, so never mind. So you just got paid 5 days to work 4.
Well, no, I got paid. This is getting too complicated to be interesting anymore, so we're just going to move past it.
We'll talk about the Geek Squad on a special podcast.
It came in really hot
yes, we will.
with the 57 fact, and you know.
Yeah,
we're losing steam. Like it's downhill.
I told
you
57 is the only research I did.
Like the
19 and 3, baby.
So
now we're
Heinz 57
with 5 or 6 days. Yeah. I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're talking about Spenser's work schedule on a podcast.
The numbers get harder as they go down, as there's less of them, you know? There's more margin for error.
All right. Moving on. This is what happens when you ask about my life. Like, it's like, I've got nothing here. Like, unless I'm going to talk to you about wrestling.
Yeah, that's why you flipped it back around on me, and it's like, oh shit. Oh man, I don't know. Okay. You're right. Let's actually move on. Brit, can you hit us with a bucket fact?
I would love to hit you with a bucket fact.
Bucket fact, 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 bucket fact.
Oh man, love that song.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about Buckethead's first band in which he performs as Buckethead.
Okay.
The Deli Creeps.
Okay.
The Deli Creeps formed in late 1989 in Claremont, California, consisting of members Buckethead, bassist Tony Black, drummer Pinchface, and vocalist Maximum Bob.
Excellent.
In 1990, they moved to San Francisco and recorded their first demo tape. They also recorded one a year later that shared all but one song from their first EP. They also toured in a limited capacity at the time, sharing the stage often with friends Mr. Bungle, on whose debut album Maximum Bob would appear doing guest vocals.
Wow.
Buckethead's solo career and work with Praxis started picking up, so the band disbanded for some time, but reformed in 1996, recording another demo. They would also disband again shortly thereafter. In 2003, when Buckethead was still with Guns N' Roses, the band would form again, this time with Josh Bockles on bass. Which, quick aside, Josh Bockles.
Is that Boccles?
Bockles, which I think
Oh, that's even better.
It's
yeah.
like Buckles, but with an
Yeah, that's
Bockles.
even better. Yeah.
Love that shit. And also, that's a bassist name.
It's a fucking
He can't play
bassist name.
anything but bass, right? That's a
Yeah.
John Bockles plays bass. They wouldn't record anything in this era, but they did play a handful of shows around California before disbanding again. The most recent time we've seen the Deli Creeps is in 2005 when they recorded their debut album, Dawn of the Deli Creeps, this time with legendary Buckethead collaborator Dan Monty playing bass. They also contributed some songs for the Flesh for the Beast soundtrack, the horror movie that Buckethead composed.
Wow.
Some original Deli Creep songs later appear in Buckethead recordings as instrumentals, especially on 1994's Giant Robot, which features versions of Smilin' Charlie, Binge and Grab, and Random Killing, all original Deli Creep songs. Mr. Bungle and Faith No More vocalist Mike Patton, generally regarded as very good, once said...
I like how you... Can you read that one more time?
Mr. Bungle and Faith No More vocalist Mike Patton, generally regarded as very good.
Subtly just throwing your opinions in there.
No, he's generally regarded as very good. I said generally, not all people, but most people that I know.
I just like this. I just like this. It's good.
Okay.
It's good context.
So I can't finish now.
I mean, we're familiar with that.
Usually when you look me in the eyes, right? Damn it. Mr. Bungle and Faith No More vocalist Mike Patton generally... Mike Patton said, they're so good, they piss me off.
Bucket facts.
All right.
Boom.
We listened to 3 Pikes this week.
We
Didn't
did.
we?
We actually did.
Albums. We listened to 3 albums.
We fucking did.
Pikes 175, 176, and 177. Quilted, 31 Days Till Halloween, Visitor from the Mirror, and 30 Days Till Halloween, Swollen Glasses, respectively.
So, like, the worst possible albums to invite a guest on to talk about.
We'll see, because I think for the next, 10 weeks, it's going to be this exactly.
It's going to be a lot for us.
So we got into apparently a stretch of, solo guitar in noise albums, basically.
Which is a lot, and it's a lot to ask someone to commit to listening to. Had I been aware these were the albums in question, I may have...
You know what?
I may have changed how I did
did
this,
wonder.
but,
I was like, is this random or is this a bit? Is that the funny thing?
So you're not the first person.
You're the second guest now to wonder if this is actually a bit.
Yeah, you're the second guest who has been like, are these guys doing a bit? I mean, and yes, to a certain extent, but also no. Like, this was not intentional.
I'm like, invite the raw punk memer to listen to the 3 ambient Buckethead albums. I was like, that's hilarious.
I mean... yes. I feel like it could have been worse.
Yes,
but not much. Like, we could have been like, "Hey, you want to come on our like Yanni cast?"
Oh, like, let me tell you about the Acropolis, you guys.
Oh, Live at the Acropolis. That album does fuck.
Let me tell you about Dare to Dream.
Dare to Dream does fuck.
Like, I can Yannidrop all day. I fucking love me some Yanni.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
we got to do a Yanni versus John Tesh cast where we like just analyze like Yanni, Tesh.
You actually think there's a comparison with
in the early days, not later days? There was John Tesh becomes a piece of shit, you know.
Yeah, John Tesh in the '90s is a fucking infomercial hack. Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a fine piano. He's a great synth player, but his piano playing is.
Wow, so opinionated.
I have so many synth opinions.
You got an opinion.
I have so many synth opinions. That's not what this is about.
That's a fun segment. Let's do that next.
Let's never do
next episode. We'll do synth opinions.
Space Wizards and Space is going to invite himself on, and we'll never stop.
There we go.
We'll
do a special synth opinions episode. It's going to be good.
Okay. Anyway, back to the meat of this turkey.
That was a terrible segue. Pike, the first Pike we listened to this week is Pike 175, Quilted.
Released on September 29th, 2015, just 3 days after the previous Pike, Last House on Slung Street, which was good.
Yeah, that one was actually really good.
There's
good ones. I read that and was like, oh, too bad I missed that one.
You did.
Yes.
You missed the boat on good to listen to.
I was trying
albums.
to contextualize these.
So this is definitely the best of the 3 albums.
Yeah, I would agree. Yes,
it feels like the most
focused,
musical, definitely. Yeah. You know, it's a one song called Quilted, titular track, eponymous. Song opens with a large synth pad, and then the guitar slowly begins to play like soft dynamic notes. And it's a clean guitar with some reverb and a little bit of delay, but just like well saturated, played really well, played really melodically. He experiments with some different synth backing tones here and there, and occasionally like guitar backing tones, but mostly it's just ambient electronic stuff behind a clean, reverby, mellow, delayed guitar.
Yeah.
It's really super relaxing, actually. Like,
it's very relaxing. I was listening to it while playing an online multiplayer first-person shooter, and it was not the best soundtrack for that.
No.
But you know, it's still like it provided me with a sense of zen and calm. Hard to get angry at the game. Not that I particularly do that, but I mean, that wasn't a very good game. So
fair. What did you think? And also. Before we jump into this, what has your exposure to Buckethead been before you were asked to be on this?
I saw Buckethead one time at a festival in like 2007.
Oh, that's cool. That's dope.
Nice.
And I'm from Lawrence, Kansas, and we used to have a festival there called Wakarusa. And it was one of those like small festivals where the lineup was extremely random. So it would be like, they could get like Flaming Lips because they're like in Oklahoma right next door. They got like Buckethead, like STS9, like hippie electro kind of stuff. Probably
Fish adjacent.
Yeah,
you know?
like probably like Dinosaur Jr. kind of band.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So,
I mean, more like Dinosaur Senior now.
That's a fun joke. I like that. That's I'm stealing that Mencia style, baby.
Hey.
But anyway, I just know him as a metal guitarist. And
can I ask a question? What was it like when you saw him? What did you think? Like how? Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna assume we're around the same age, probably early 30s. You don't have to confirm or deny. But that would put you at like what, like 17, 18, 19 in 2007?
I was 19. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds about right. So as a 19-year-old, who were you there to see?
I was there to do drugs.
Or was it just the place to go?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
it was
okay,
the place
all
to
right.
go.
Yeah.
It's
All
a
right,
town
all right.
of like
Yeah, so you said Kansas,
90,000
right?
people. Not a lot going on.
I mean, that's what you do. So we grew up rurally-ish too.
Yeah.
I mean, near the biggest. I grew up rural,
Yes.
but
So we get it,
there
when
was
there's
still-
an event,
there
you got to go to the
was-
event.
Yeah, the Alaska State Fair, which had Ted Nugent every other year. And
Yeah, we wouldn't oh my god.
every other time he was there, he would say the N-word.
Oh, so
And-
have I told that story on the podcast?
I think we've talked about Ted
Oh
Nugent
my God.
yelling the N-word.
Yeah, no, I literally saw him probably around 2005, I think. And he literally did say the N-word on stage, and everybody cheered, and it was really uncomfortable. So Ted Nugent, not recommended.
Yeah. Ted White and Blue, baby. That's how that's his book. That's his book on politics he wrote.
No.
You should read it. It's fucking hilarious. It's
No.
as someone who identifies as the opposite of what he is, it's like a fucking constant joke book. I'm just like, that's an absurd sentence. Oh, he's serious. Fuck.
But you also have this very high tolerance for just nonsense. You will watch didn't you watch a bunch of what the fuck was that band? You were watching a bunch of NoFX concerts on YouTube a while back, and
no, I watched 2 NoFX documentaries and an entire series
in
of
your life?
live at Fat Mike's house, and I'm just good question. I don't even like NoFX. They're fine. I know.
That's why it's so strange. What is going on? And you and I together have watched every Kevin Smith film,
right? Well,
together.
The thing is, I'm interested in subcultures more than anything, which is why I spent so much time on the Quicksand forum, just reading posts. Because that's not something that gets me off, but the Quicksand forum is fucking something I can't even understand, which is why I need to understand more about it.
If you're unaware of what Brit is talking about, the Quicksand forums are forums for people who have a fetish for sinking into quicksand.
Interesting.
Or other people sinking into quicksand. And it's actually a huge community, and I would say
huge
community.
I would
It's a
say
community.
I would straight up say the quicksand fetish community is at least a $5 to $10 million a year business. There is real money in quicksand.
Where people just sink into it and beat off.
Is it real quicksand?
Yo, listen. NFTs? No, fuck that shit. The real money is in quicksand.
Okay, is it real quicksand though? What are we talking about?
Quicksand. You have no idea. You have no idea. The cursed knowledge I have. Okay.
We have a pretty good...
I'm obsessed with the people that like to
Ex-
get blown up in latex.
Yes.
Love
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Those are
and also
my people.
Vor, whole vor is such an interesting thing. People who fantasize about being eaten whole and digested whole.
I've watched tons of those videos. Yeah, those are hilarious.
Yeah, no,
they're fun. They're fun.
Yeah, you watch them and you're like...
I mean, you gotta find something to pass the time when you're sober, right?
Honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
only jack off so
that
many
year or
times
so
in a
I
day.
spent sober.
Yeah.
Straight up. Yeah. So I was. I'm no longer sober, but I was sober for 16 months or something, and all I did was jack off, have sex, and look into some weird
and
shit.
eat sugar.
That's all.
That's all there is.
Yeah.
I actually never did the sugar
Really?
thing. I just worked out a lot.
I do that too. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta find
Refined
a way.
sugar, jerking off, and
gotta-
telling people that you're sober. That's all.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the thing is, I didn't do sugar, but I smoked a lot of weed, and I don't know if you smoke weed.
No, I'm actual sober.
Oh, actual. So I was California sober.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah, and I didn't. Well, I told people I was sober because it's so much more difficult. I actually eventually went to I'm dry, And then people are like, "Do you need some lotion?" I'm like, "Fuck no, I feel my skin. It's amazing. Seriously, I'm not that." Okay.
That's amazing. I love that a lot. But anyway, back to quicksand, right? So, like, what you told me a long time ago about a company where like they have all these different pits that you can go sink into.
There's a compound in, it's either Arkansas or Alabama, and it's a place with, I want to say at last count they had 14 or 15 custom pits. So they had indoor and outdoor pits, all with different types of things. Because the thing about quicksand fetishes is they all have a different type of quicksand they're into.
Because quicksand is not a real thing.
Do they come in the quicksand? I'm getting ahead of myself, but
sorry.
Do they come in the quicksand?
So
no, we got to talk about
we got to talk about the types because there's just.
Are they coming in the sand? Please tell me.
Listen. There's. We need to set up a foundation before we get to the
quicksand foreplay. Quicksand foreplay. Okay.
This is information foreplay right here. Before we get to the coming, all right? Respect it.
Yeah.
This ain't a Hitachi wand. It's not gonna make you come in 5 seconds.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get to the coming. The coming happens. Okay.
All right. We have penises. We can't make people come like toys can. All right.
Yeah, you gotta.
Whoa.
Yeah, okay. Quicksand.
Yeah.
No toys.
So
quicksand.
anyway, quicksand.
Yeah,
So there's different types of quicksand. You got just pure mud. You've got like media types of quicksand, which the way they make it there are like oftentimes they'll do a water paint mixture mixed with like actual sand, because the type of quicksand they have in media that's like a pit in either the desert or the jungle that's like actual like coarse sand that's liquidous and just pulls you in and is like really watery, that's not really a thing.
It doesn't really exist.
Yeah,
no.
That doesn't really exist. And so those types of things they have to like come up with a way to actually simulate that, because it's not a real thing. But a big one people have a big thing for is like peat moss. So like moss and mud and stuff.
Okay.
And people really seem to like
That's
that.
Give me the peat boys.
Yeah.
And free my soul.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what that song's about. It's about quicksand fetishes.
Yeah.
Remember that next time you hear it in a grocery store.
I mean,
I'll be thinking about this all the time.
Big quicksand fetishes.
For the rest of my life.
So I'll send you the link to the forum later. Like, just beware, lose hope, all ye who enter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's true for basically any
this
fetish
be where
forum.
dragons lie. Like,
I've already got the
terrible
Google
place,
queued
but-
up.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you'll find it pretty easily if you just search like quicksand fetish forum. It's going to be one of the first things there. You'll know it when you see it. It's actually a pretty big forum, and you can spend hours and hours and hours just looking at posts. I know from experience.
Yeah.
But anyway, when it comes to coming,
I remember.
honestly, not a whole lot of coming in there. Usually, a big thing is just like guys. And it's almost entirely guys, of course, fetishizing women drowning in quicksand in skimpy clothes.
So it's like movies, like Tarzan.
Yeah, so that's the interesting thing is, if you go down the rabbit hole, and there is a great like sub post on there of like what got you into quicksand, and like most of it is old guys who saw like a film somewhere of a woman drowning in quicksand,
jerked off to it.
Yeah, and they got a young boner at that, and like it's haunted their fucking life ever since.
A young boner. I love the idea of a young boner.
The thing is, a young boner is formative.
Yeah.
Right? Our early sexual experiences really do actually form us in a real way. So young boners are important.
Young boners matter. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I almost want to start a charity that like brings like fucking exposure to that, but I feel like young boners matter is not the best way to word it.
No, if you want to be a part of exposing young boners, Brit. That's distressing.
Fine. Anyway, Pike 175, pretty nice.
Pretty nice, pretty mellow.
Well, it sounds great too.
Yeah.
A quicksand
The
drowning
quicksand pits.
visual, right?
Yeah,
Now
I was
that
actually going
would
to
be
say it's definitely
relaxing
massage
and
music,
hot.
but if it's a relaxing, like almost like a quicksand jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Like someone mellowly, like, oh yeah, this is my fate. I'm gonna drown in this quicksand, but real sexy like.
Yeah. I feel like this would be great music to listen to if you were standing above a pit where someone was sinking into quicksand and you were masturbating furiously. Like, this would be a great soundtrack for that. Like, let's be honest here. Right. We're all adults.
29 minutes, it's perfect.
The perfect amount of time, for sure. You really don't need more time than that.
So going back to the quicksand, you gotta wonder, this place in Arkansas, what is the, like, in these quicksand pits, like, if they don't always change out the quicksand, what is the quicksand to semen ratio in most of these pits?
Yeah, because they're probably not. How do you clean the sand? Right? They're probably just adding more sand and water to it. You know?
Right.
So, like, there's got to be like at least a non-insignificant amount of semen.
Because the semen is replenished every day, but how often do they replenish the mud and the water and stuff? You know?
You're assuming these pits are getting a lot of use.
They have to be.
I mean, have you been to the forum, Spenser?
Yeah,
they get a lot of use. People take fucking destination locations, fucking vacations to go fucking see this shit.
Yeah.
You think? Yeah, you know what? For the podcast,
I think we should go.
Let's do it.
Let's go down to Arkansas. And
I want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't sleep until I have a ticket.
You know what?
Arkansas.
We're gonna do like a video of podcast for it, and we're gonna call it Gettin Head. This is the pits.
Wow. The pits of head.
Yeah.
No, that's not good.
Truly reaching the bottom of the fucking barrel. Speaking of which, we're moving on to our next album we listened to.
Pike 176, 31 Days Till Halloween, Visitor from the Mirror. Released on October 1st, 2015, just 2 days after the previous album. Are y'all surprised it was released 2 days after the previous album?
I'm not surprised it was released in 2 days.
It sounded like it was recorded in an afternoon.
It does. It is a noise album. And as such, I guess I wanted to ask the room here. Tell me about your experiences going to noise shows, if you have them. I can start.
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah, the response was mixed.
It's a fucking. You go first.
Yeah, we've all been in noise shows, but like
totally.
So occasionally, the best noise show is one where you get someone with a real mental illness making noise music.
Oh yeah, like if they're like really hurting themselves. On stage,
they just go absurdly berserk. Yeah. That's the best noise show you can possibly hope for.
Yeah,
people who do like ordered mechanical, like people who practice their noise set
or modular synth noise. Like modular synth noise is not as good. Okay, so I've played a lot of shows with noise artists when I was playing bass in a post-punk band for a while, and when I was doing that, we played like quite a few shows with noise artists, and we played shows at like venues that typically hosted noise artists, and that was always interesting to a certain extent. Noise is fun. It's better when it's accompanied with like audio visual stuff, I think. Like when there's like visuals to complement it. Or otherwise you're just like standing there with your eyes closed and kind of rocking back and forth and trying not to fall asleep. Mm-hmm. But
that was an amazing
I know. I was like trying to get it away from the
mic. We got that HD
God
sound.
Damn it.
That was interesting. I heard your whole fucking digestive track.
Yeah, hate to see it, I guess. Noise artists are fun. My favorite noise boy that I've seen at a noise show, and you know the noise boys, you know the ones that are like they're only there for the noise, like they're they never wear earplugs, they're always like right up against the speakers, like being like,
oh, you told me about this guy, you texted me about him right after you saw him.
I did because I was obsessed with him. But like I went and saw Finesse, if anybody's familiar with Finesse is like a Austrian, I think, or Italian. I'm not sure. Noise artist. He's very popular. He's done some collabs with some famous
popular
people.
Noise artist.
He's one of the more Hey, at the show that I went to see him, there were like well over 200 people there.
Yeah, but this is Seattle, and people are stupid.
Good point.
This is the only show he made money on. This is
good point. Good point. Anyways, there was a guy there, and I think I've told this story before. But anyways, this guy, he was head to toe dressed in pink. Just only pink attire. He was wearing a pink hoodie. He had a pink leather jacket on top of that, pink pants, pink shoes. The pink leather jacket that he had the Pink Panther in the giant back patch sewn onto the back of the jacket. And he was just like buying Tall Boys of Rainier and just standing right next to the speaker and just like had his hair. He had like kind of long stringy hair and he just had it in front of his face and he was just like pounding Tall Boys and just standing right next to the speaker entire show. Like, dude was legend.
Wow.
Legend
and
shit right
you
there.
never saw him again? He just disappeared into the night?
No. It's the only noise show I saw him at. But, like, he was a true noise head for sure. His number. Yeah.
Sucked his Pink Panther.
At least his Instagram, you know, so we can keep on top, you know, with the fits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude sounds awesome.
He does sound really, really cool.
So I tried to think about it. The only noise show I can think about that I actually have a story of was actually the only good noise show experience I've ever had.
Oh, do tell.
So there was this cafe in Wasilla, Alaska. They hosted this noise band out of nowhere. I think they were from San Francisco or something. And this had to have been like 14 years ago, 15 years ago maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
My friend Brian Daniels, who I'm going to try to get on the show, invited me to go there and see this band called, I think they were called Mystical Dragons. But they were this
they weren't imagining them. They had already manifested those real dragons.
Yes, they were not fictional. They were just mystical.
Yeah.
So it was like I think a couple, like a guy and a girl, and they were noise artists. And so they did a little bit of a noise set, but then they invited us to join in on their noise set. And one thing they had was it was like a heat-based theremin type instrument that was also hooked up to like an NPC, and so it would sample stuff based on certain like heat and like electricity. And so what they did is they had someone hold on to this, and the more people touched them or didn't touch them, the beats would change. And so it was just working off of basically like electricity of the body to like make the music. And
it sounds fun.
And so the entire crowd participated on making an entire noise set with these artists for like an hour. And although there were only like maybe 20 some people there, it was fucking awesome. It brought us all together.
The things COVID stole from us, we could never have that experience again.
Oh, no,
we're never sharing things in public again with strangers. No.
Also, oddly, this happened in Wasilla, Alaska. I believe when Sarah Palin was the mayor there. And Sarah
probably.
And so like that it was a terrible, shitty place full of awful people. But at that time, something magical happened. Something some might say mystical dragons. Mystical dragons.
Yeah.
Big shout out.
I just remember when we played a show with Trash Talk in Wasilla, Alaska, and that show went so hard that all the hardcore kids were kicking holes in the wall, and that venue was like a Christian dude who like ran it for like a church or something, and that dude was pissed because Trash Talk was like really like
aggro.
Awesome. And it was just like it was really good. Yeah, that was a fun time.
Do you have any fun noise show?
Got anything?
Well, okay, there was a period of time.
Like, thanks for just springing this on this fucking Spenser. Like,
to be fair, I told you about this before the podcast.
Yeah, but I didn't think we were actually doing it today. Shit.
Sorry, Breck. Please
continue.
It's fine.
Okay, so there was a period of a couple years in New York where like every hardcore show had this one noise artist on the bill. So
like the same guy?
Yeah, girl. I've seen her like 400 times.
Oh wow.
And then I have attended briefly part of Trip Metal Festival in Detroit.
Oh.
Okay.
I've heard of this, but I don't remember.
It's the Insane Johnny Wolf Eyes Guys Festival in Detroit.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I saw some good stuff there. I saw some bad stuff there. Dude, there's a huge noise scene in Detroit. So
what about diaper noise? Is that a thing? Is there a noise artist that wears a diaper and that's their whole thing? Because that would be funny.
I mean, surely.
Yeah.
What's the diaperiest genre though? I mean,
like prog rock for sure.
But if you go back like funk.
Yeah.
Funk was Parliament Funkadelic had a guy named Diaper Man.
That's true. Diaper Man is a member of
maybe
Parliament
P-Funk is
Funkadelic.
the diaperiest. I'm not sure. Prog rock is definitely diapery. So is Gent.
Gent is very diapery. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Great questions. We're asking the real questions here. Speaking of real questions, what do we think that Pike 176
Visitor from the Mirror.
It's a good soundtrack too.
Okay, so I took one note while I listened to these 3 albums. It was a little more creaking door in 176.
It was a little more creaky, and also like halfway through the album, you got some like haunty electronic cello noises. And you'll love a haunty electronic cello occasionally, but
occasionally.
But given that it was half the album,
we're doing the Halloween countdown now, so
yeah.
Here in November on Thanksgiving Day, we're starting the countdown.
Yeah, 31 days.
Yeah. 31 days, baby.
I mean, we're gonna be counting down Halloween until the middle of
till Christmas, baby.
February.
Yeah, there we go.
I think it's actually gonna be until February.
Oh man, nice.
You heard it here.
So we gotta do like
countdown to Black History Month. Fucking listening to these Pikes.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah. I mean, this is a very atmospheric album, right? Like it creates an atmosphere. What's that atmosphere a good atmosphere for?
It's obviously a haunted house. Obviously it's a haunted house.
It's very
it's all a haunted house. It's
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's creaky, there's no other answer to creaking than haunted house.
Right. And the thing that makes me a little disappointed so far, we don't know how diverse these are going to be, but there is a great way to do Halloween-y music that I think Buckethead can achieve, which is like John Carpenter type shit. The Halloween soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I know he's into that. I know he likes that shit.
I would even say the next album is actually a little closer to something like that than this one.
Closer, but neither of them so far are in any way like that.
Yeah.
They're way too atmospheric. Like, I feel like he could have done this in a way that made it more diverse so far. But
so far.
Yeah, lucky for you, there's 29 more babies, so
there you go. 29, baby.
Thank you for the reminder.
29 prime time.
That's actually a prime number.
I know it's a prime number. I had to think about it.
Not
Make
divisible
sure it was
by
fucking
3.
prime.
Not divisible by 3.
I had to make sure. Thanks for checking my math. Yeah. I think. Speaking of prime,
Pike 177 is not prime. Also divisible by 3.
Thanks for the prime report. We appreciate it. Prime report with Brit.
59 times 3.
Nice. Really?
Yeah.
It's episode 59.
Yeah. Do the math. 59.
Do the math,
thank
idiot.
Quick math. That's all I'm good for. I should have had a job that required that. I failed. Pike 177 divisible by 3. 59 divisible by 3. The only other I only do divisible by 3 research.
Yeah,
for this
I've noticed.
podcast.
I've noticed. Yeah.
This is a 3-cast.
Yeah.
Swollen Glasses, released on October 2nd, 2015, one single day after Visitor from the Mirror.
Yeah.
So this one starts with some industrial ambient sounds.
Oh, yeah.
And continues for the entire album with industrial ambient sounds.
Yes, definitely. It does also eventually have sort of a melody that happens.
It does. A haunty-ish clean guitar. Does some not melodic stuff. And then eventually does kind of melodic stuff.
Correct.
This one was a little stressful.
Yeah.
It's definitely more
tense. Anxiety.
Inducing
music.
I mean, it definitely had a little more of a rhythm to it, I feel.
Yes.
The last album didn't have any rhythm whatsoever, and this one definitely had a little of a boom, 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 kind of heartbeat feel to it.
Yeah. So, which adds to the tension, adds to the anxiety. Yeah.
Also, it was I feel like we all had anxiety. At least you and me, Spenser, because we're we have to listen to 29 more of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I also listened to them in a row, so by the third one, I was
same. Yeah,
I was spiraling for sure.
I mean,
I know the feeling very well.
I always am, but I was like at the bottom of a spiral.
You were riding the spiral.
I really
you had
was.
a diaper sesh, listening to Tool, riding that spiral.
Always have a diaper sesh, baby. That's what the Tool vinyl is for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this one was an album. Also goes to a haunted house.
Yeah, totally. Have you been to a haunted house?
I've been to lots of haunted houses.
I've never been to a haunted house.
Actually.
What, Spencer?
Look,
Excuse me,
look,
Breck?
2 against 1.
No, that's...
You're the weird one.
I know. I know. You don't have to tell me.
I mean, where are they?
That's exactly.
You're in New York, which has one of the best haunted houses ever. One that
Why do
you
you
actually
know
have to sign a waiver for because it's fucking traumatic. Apparently, like there was one year where they did waterboarding. And they almost got shut down because of it.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, but like
that's
people have
torture.
to agree. Yeah, it is. But like people have to agree to it. But like, I mean, that is like haunted.
That sounds like a fetish.
Yeah,
like, more than a
waterboarding.
haunted
Yeah, that's
I'm
a house
actually
thing.
a
But
big
also, yeah,
fan. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's more
exactly.
of a
Exactly.
It's more of a horrific house than a haunted house, right?
Yeah,
'Cause, like, what ghost is going to waterboard you except for maybe like the ghost of George H.W. Bush?
Colin Powell.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah, that's fucked up. Interesting. That definitely sounds like it's like geared towards kink.
Yeah,
kinksters.
I'll find. You know.
It's New York, so yeah, maybe probably everyone in New York's
Talking a lot of game here.
sexually depraved.
Okay. Okay. Bold.
Yeah. So yeah, where do you think this goes? Did you already say?
That's not even what we were talking about. We were talking about haunted houses. Yeah.
No, that's why
we were talking about the
Yeah,
album.
totally.
I said this goes to a
Is
haunted
this
house.
like a weed
Yeah,
thing? You know, is this like weed?
Weed?
No.
No, Buckethead doesn't smoke weed.
He's straight edge.
That's kind of what I thought, but then I heard this and I was like, there has to be weed.
I love that. That's very
it's almost
adept. Yes.
Yeah, after listening to this, you hope there's weed.
Yes.
Because otherwise, you're
You
like,
want there to be weed.
why? If you're not
It's not
stoned,
high, then
it's
how did you
it's exactly
what?
like noise music.
So you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of like Sleep's Dope Smoker, which is an album that is completely unremarkable except for the fact that how stoned they were. Like that's the only thing that's remarkable about it. And so like
That's fine.
like but I'm just saying like without the weed, like no one would ever listen to that album ever. But with the weed, it makes it into something, you know. That's why you want there to be weed. You want there to be like that added zap.
I would like an explanation, and weed is a very simple one. You know,
Yes, there you go. Yeah, it's one we know. It's one we understand.
I mean, the thing is, like, when you go looking for explanations with Buckethead, you're gonna kind of come up empty-handed because he doesn't do interviews. He doesn't explain himself. He answers to nobody. He hasn't actually done an interview since 2017, and before that, it was like 5 years before he'd done an interview. So, like, I mean, dude just doesn't talk, and he doesn't really want people to know or doesn't care about them knowing.
That's really badass.
It's pretty sick,
right? To having that kind of like lore around you and just
he is that guy because you know he is that guy artists talk about where like, oh yeah, I'd sell out for a couple years just to become a millionaire and then do whatever the fuck I want. He actually did that. He's like the one.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe John Mayer almost, although he's still making tons. He's making more money doing what he loves than he ever did with his solo career, which is weird.
It's so
Wait,
gross.
what is he doing?
Yeah, because he's like
Dead?
I mean,
he plays for the Grateful Dead.
No way.
Yeah. So
yes, I know. It's disgusting.
So wait,
I hate it.
I'm sorry. I need to give a Buckethead update because there is an update that involves Buckethead in some tangential way that has to do with the Grateful Dead or the Dead and Friends. So the Grateful Dead's second drummer, something Kuritzman or something, is recently been ill, and so filling in for him is none other than Primus's second drummer.
Huh.
who is also like their 5th drummer. Yeah.
What?
Okay. Where I think I'm
So
following.
one of Primus's drummer is playing for the Dead and Friends now.
Is this band math? Is that what we're doing right now?
I'm doing quick band math. It's all divisible by 3. Trust me. All divisible by fucking 3.
Okay.
We'll get there. I'm just laying the foundation.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Wow. Look at that.
Yeah. We listen to we
did that.
So no weed. Did you smoke weed when you listened?
No weed. Oh hell yeah!
Oh hell yeah!
How do you think I got through this shit? I don't know how you got through this shit. Wow.
Smoke weed. It's hard.
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I bet.
I
bet.
Thank you for persevering.
It was hard when I was stoned.
Yeah.
I did weed and dabs. I got double stoned, and I was still like, Jesus Christ, it's still going.
You know?
I see. Well, like I don't worry about that stuff because anytime I put on the Pikes, I just go do something. Like I'm like cleaning my house or something.
See, that's my problem. Is I literally do it at my computer with Notepad open, doing it track by track.
Because you're a fucking psycho. Like what? Don't you have other things to do?
A psycho?
He has other things to do. Watch documentaries about NOFX.
Clearly, yeah. Like, come on.
What do you want me to do with my life? Make this podcast better and more informative, or watch more Fat Mike? All right, you have 2 options.
Okay, wait. Did you watch the one
Fat
where
Mike.
they did they snorted the green dragon drug? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't think I've seen that
Whoa,
one.
do
no.
do elaborate.
Okay, there was
Yeah,
like
no,
a
I gotta hear about
NoFX
this.
show or something. It was like backstage.
Oh, the vodka with weed?
No, it was
that what you're
it was
talking
a
about, or-
green powder, and they snorted it, and they were in Asia.
Huh. Oh no, I've not seen that. It was probably matcha powder. They probably just snorted green tea.
I know, right? They were
Yeah.
in Singapore.
oh wow, it's like
and, you
cocaine.
can get-
Yeah.
like drugs are
okay.
completely like you can get the death penalty for doing drugs in Singapore.
yeah.
They were like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like why did
Green
Fat Mike
Dragon,
go
and
there?
they, like,
He's the biggest
snorted.
cokehead of all time.
yeah, trust me,
Oh,
you
wow.
gotta see it.
That's crazy.
That
Yeah.
sounds great. Yeah, I
mean-
I want to see that.
I mean, so every,
and I don't care about NoFX.
Yeah, I don't either. But
I don't
every
either.
Yeah,
NoFX
you say that.
Yeah, but
But
every
you've talked to me
Listen.
about NoFX so many
Listen.
times at this point that I'm like, Brit, you care about NoFX. Like,
every NoFX documentary is like actually pretty decent concert footage interspersed with Fat Mike going on a fucking cocaine bender and having a subsequent mental breakdown. And I don't know why. That's fascinating.
you find it compelling. Yeah.
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 You know what I find really compelling is somehow, actually, I know how, cocaine, Fat Mike is actually worth less than Buckethead.
Huh.
Wow.
He seems to work very hard.
He does. Well, I mean, Fat Mike owns a record label, Fat Records, which is actually was a pretty big punk record label, and it still is kind of in its own way.
Huh.
Yeah.
What's hey cool Shrek. What's NoFX's street cred? What do the punks think about him?
Like children listen to NoFX. Like everybody listened to NoFX when they were a child, right? That's like the general
of course.
consensus,
I mean,
right?
yeah. The last time I listened to NoFX, I was 17 years old.
NoFX is like a gateway drug to
But
real
they
punk music.
don't I don't think anyone still listens to NoFX, but we still listen to Rancid.
I do.
You know what I mean? Like there's like
So, actually,
okay.
fun that you bring up Rancid. I had to mansplain Outcome to the Wolves to fucking Spenser the other day at a bar because he had never listened to the album
Really?
before.
I don't know anything about Rancid.
Really?
He had never heard the album before. I know, right? And so I was mansplaining to him for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was
And
really
this
dumb.
girl with green and pink hair next to us could not stop laughing the entire time.
I think she was just having her own conversation.
No, she was definitely laughing. She was following the beat of my punchlines.
I don't
Definitely
know.
listen.
well, there's
I
the next
thought that
podcast
too.
concept.
We actually recorded that, unfortunately.
We did.
So yeah,
Out comes the podcast, baby.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that was a night, wasn't it? So would y'all like to go on a journey with me?
Oh,
I would
yes,
like to go on
please.
a journey to the restroom real quick. 'Cause
Okay.
I gotta pee.
All right.
Yeah.
You do that.
But after
then
that, maybe.
we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. So the next part of our show, which we're gonna get into in a minute, is where we read some YouTube comments. It's gonna be pretty good.
Nice. On your podcast or of other things?
of the Buckethead stuff primarily, but then also of other things. I have a surprise for you in particular. Very excited about it.
Nice.
It's gonna be pretty good. Pretty good.
Hell yeah.
Good. What's your day been like? What you been up to?
I went on a long walk in Central Park and stumbled upon the Macy's Day Parade.
Oh, that's a thing apparently.
Watched Santa Claus go by in the grand finale.
Did you see a Garfield?
No, I literally saw the last thing, which was Santa Claus.
Nice.
And then a marching band from Alabama. Let's see. Then
how do you feel about Santa Claus? How do you think he does it?
How do I feel about Santa Claus? Hardest working man in America.
Like clearly, well, I mean, he's bringing presents to all the kids in the world, and he does it every Christmas. How do we feel about that?
I never really believed in Santa because my neighbor told me.
Reality?
Well, my neighbor kid told me that he was fake, like at a super young age. And I was like, how'd you know? And he was like, well, I just stayed up and it's my parents. And I was like, well, that makes sense.
That's
because
good thinking. Yeah.
You got a bike and I got pickles. And
pickles. I mean, like pickles are really good.
I mean, they're really good. I got them from Santa.
Is that for me?
Yeah.
For me?
So, I never really. But then the kid who told me got shot.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
Yeah.
By Santa Claus?
By our other neighbor kid. This is very Kansas.
Oh, that's.
Got shot by our other neighbor kid. It was like a freak accident. Like the bullet like ricocheted off a clothesline and went into his temple, straight into his brain, died instantly.
Whoa.
So then that's
heavy.
I was like, so then I believed in Santa out of fear.
That makes sense. Wow, what a story. That's great. Brit, you gotta, when you listen back to the podcast, leave that in.
Live out of fear. So which Kiss album were we talking about?
No, we were talking about Santa Claus.
Oh,
but speaking of Santa Claus, would y'all like to go on a journey with me?
I'd love to.
Please.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to the Bucket Void.
Statements from the Bucket Void.
Bucket Void. Oh my God. Oh my God. We're here. We're here. This is not bad. Yeah. This is part of the show where we just shine a light onto the horrible, rotting carcass that is YouTube, and just take a look and see what's there. And we're gonna talk about some BS, some bullshit, as they call it. So this is here's some Buckethead comment stuff.
Some BHBS.
Something like that. So YouTube user G Smith says 6 years ago, Buckethead is a god, and he had a response. X Caldax 6 years ago says, nah, he is a limitless transcended being. Good correction there. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well,
he can't be God.
Stuff.
Yeah. More weed stuff.
I think the second guy was probably like a Christian, and was like,
that would be blasphemous.
There's only one God. Buckethead's pretty good.
Totally. YouTube user Nicholas Wolf says 6 years ago, an essential component of any complete Buckethead breakfast.
So that reminds me of a bucket comment we got a long time ago. I don't know if you remember. The three B's to start the day: breakfast, bong hit, Buckethead.
Oh my God. Weed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
See, the weed is necessary.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite Buckethead fans, are the
ones
that are like, oh yeah, I got stoned to listen to this.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck yeah.
Because it's like, what, are you high?
Fans?
Why are you listening to this in the morning? You're fucking high is why.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wake and bake and Buckethead, baby.
So clearly the other essential component to a complete Buckethead breakfast is obviously bong hits.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Just acknowledging that, I think, is important for us and for society,
The greater good.
Probably. YouTube user Pasta Deadman, great name, says 3 weeks ago, releasing an album a day? Pfft, that shit's for the weak. Real musicians talk up a single album for 15 years straight and then don't even release it.
Looking at you, Tool. Looking at you.
Well, actually, yeah, they did do that. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, also Dr. Dre.
Oh man, the
Detox
never coming out.
Never
Detox is never coming out. I'm amazed that Chronic 2000 came out.
Yeah,
I'm amazed that he did an album after Detox and never released Detox.
Oh yeah. Well, we love that.
Pulled a real recent Buckethead Pike on us with that one.
Yeah, that is
way too much insider knowledge there.
Totally. YouTube user Nick Wasmer says 6 years ago, perfectly describes how I feel right now. Laying in bed, don't want to get my lazy ass up, and holding the love of my life. His penis, probably.
His waifu
bong.
his waifu bong.
Indeed. But we have a real alcoholic hours because Hermes, I'm not going to pronounce his last name, responds 2 years ago.
Whoa! Why won't you pronounce a Greek last name, Spenser?
Because I can't.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Says sooner or later you'll have to get up and grab another beer.
It's a trismetigmos. By the way,
You definitely didn't pronounce that correctly.
Oh no, the T before the T. You're right.
Yeah, that was not real.
Trismegistos. There we go.
Okay, that's
good.
That's probably pretty close. Probably pretty close.
Listen, I like Greek food.
Okay,
that's all I got. Baklava's delicious.
Dude, falafels.
I mean, falafel is like pan-cultural to that whole region.
Sure, that's true.
Did the Greek invent it? I don't know. I feel like falafel sounds a little more.
I thought that was like Turkey.
Yeah, I think that might be Turkish.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm giving that
still
one to
into
Turkey.
Yeah.
Don't give the Greeks too much credit.
We're not giving them
they invented pedophilia. All right. So not a whole lot to be proud of here.
Speaking of pedophiles, YouTube user Wanicki357 says 2 years ago, what is it that frightens you? I'm afraid of not being liked.
Wow. I
this
mean,
is a comment on a Buckethead album?
Yeah, it is. So there's a really great response to this, but we're not going to get to that quite yet. Before that, I would like to ask both of you, what is it that frightens you?
No fear shirts.
Oh, that's heavy. It's heavy. Yeah. What you got?
What frightens me?
What frightens you?
I would say, I'm gonna just go with Disney adults on this one.
Oh, they're terrifying.
How about Harry Potter adults?
Yeah, same category.
Especially, same category for sure.
We talked
Harry
about
Potter
this
Land,
earlier,
next to Disneyland.
Same stroke, different generation.
Same stroke, all right.
Oh, that's right. Stroking off that Quidditch broom, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, baby.
Dude. So you know what frightens me?
What's that?
What?
Shows with more than 3 bands on the bill.
Oh my god, yeah. Yes.
I can't commit that much time to something. Or what the fuck?
Or shows with more than one noise band on the bill.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. So in response to that comment, YouTube user Jamie Kinnear responds 1 month ago. This is like 2 years later, basically. Thanks for sharing, dude. I'm afraid of France and their various colonies.
Fucking France, Quebec, Montreal, fucking Ivory Coast,
French Virgin Islands, bro.
My God, dude.
Oh my god.
Fucking
Senegal.
They're fucking colonial. Their late empire tyranny. I will tell you.
Martini.
I'm terrified, bro.
That Macron is a fucking dictator.
Wow.
What's the dick and dictator? I just really love that as a response. It's so great, especially 2 years later.
2 years later.
Yeah. I hope that we are inspiring people to go out there and leave weird comments on Buckethead stuff because it's great.
I hope so, and in hopes they get seen by us eventually.
I mean, I'm going to start doing it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. And speaking of you, actually, because you are our guest today, I wanted to do something special. Have a segment especially for you. Mm-hmm. And based off of your let's say, promotion of a certain type of footwear called Crocs, I decided to look up some statements from the Crocs void for you.
Amazing.
I would have made a theme song for this dog.
No, I know. We don't need more theme songs, Brit. As much as I love them, it's like 30% of our show now.
It's better than me talking.
Well, arguably, but we'll get to that. So I'm not going to list out every video that I looked at on YouTube to find these comments from, but the first one that I looked at was called Crocs Gain Cool Factor in 2020, hashtag Justin Bieber, by ABC News. There's a lot of comments here, and they're all pretty good.
People have really strong feelings about.
So yeah, that's the thing that's most interesting to me about Crocs. See, like, I have no opinion on Crocs. I don't care, but people seem to be extremely divisive about their Crocs opinions. Either they're all for them, or they're extremely against them. I think that some of the people that are against Crocs are a little bit funnier. So, YouTube user Anthony Flores Jr. says, 10 months ago, if you ain't crockin', you ain't rockin'.
Fucking, he gets it.
He gets it.
I wonder how it feels
Give
to
me
have
this man's info. I'm sending him fucking Croc charms.
What's the name for the Croc charms? I wanted to look those up, but there's like a weird like
twee
name for them.
They're called Jibbitz.
Oh no!
Of course they are.
I dislike that.
I knew you didn't know that. So.
I hate that word.
So I call them Croc charms. Jibbitz is
because they're much. That's better.
I was saying giblet.
Please don't say that
first.
Word.
Yeah,
that word. Honestly, I'm making a swear jar for that word. I don't want it around here. Okay.
Well, okay, so then we call them jibs, like jibs. Okay, you know.
I can accept
more palatable.
That, but like the other one.
This feels like
the other one with the hard T.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That feels like a slur from like the 1800s.
Right? Yeah. It's
like we're gonna steal these people lamb. These fucking gibbets. Like,
no, it sounds so bad.
I
know. Speaking of sounds so bad, YouTube user Robert Steele says these shoes are like ice skies when wet and slippery and dangerous when wet.
Wait,
these shoes are like I'm sure he meant skates.
Yeah, but he wrote skies.
Ice. But ice what?
Okay. He says these shoes are like ice skies when wet and slippery and dangerous when wet.
He makes.
There's so much to unpack here. I mean, first off, do you think he's making an ode to Bon Jovi's "Slippery When Wet"?
Obviously,
yeah, of course.
Because
I mean, we're halfway there, Brit.
I feel like that's the underlying message of this, but also the shoes are like ice skies. Really, just makes me think he's on mushrooms.
Yeah.
Well, Speaking of 80s butt rock, YouTube user Tiffany V. Marquez says, 10 months ago edited, I can't imagine Nikki Sixx wearing Crocs, so no, they're not cool. Comfortable and convenient, I can see, but cool? No.
Man, if everything Nikki Sixx does is cool, herpes rules.
Whoa.
I could see him in them.
Yeah,
I could definitely see him wearing
like some gothed out Crocs.
Yeah,
like some rocks with like just red flames. Like that's so Nikki Sixx.
It's actually very Nikki Sixx, which is funny, and just the idea of somebody like thinking that things Nikki Sixx does and wears are cool.
Yeah.
Like where is that bar? Like, what is even happening?
That's the first merch we're gonna make for this podcast is 6 a.m. fucking branded Crocs.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Fucking break the world.
I'll make some jibs. I'm already making jibs.
Thank you for not using the hard T. I appreciate it.
I'm already making jibs. Nikki Sixx is getting a jib. Why not? Fuck it.
YouTube user Northern Guns ATV says 8 months ago, Ron Jeremy loves his Crocs too, ha ha, probably even wearing them in jail.
Who?
Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy.
He spells it wrong.
Yeah, he spells it Jearmy.
Ron Jeremy.
Like that's the Ron Jeremy branded jeans.
Oh,
Yes.
Jeremy.
Jeremy. Yes.
Jeremy.
Pretty good. Pretty
so,
good.
I think I've sent it to you. One of my favorite pictures I've ever seen. It's on the at the Rainbow Bar and Grill in LA, like the famous shithole where fucking like Lemmy always got drunk and smelled bad. There's like right outside there's a whole bunch of pictures like cut out of like all the celebrities that have been there. And there's one that has to be from like 2000 or maybe 2001 that is fucking Kid Rock drunk out of his mind hanging out with Ron Jeremy.
You've sent me that picture and it is fucking incredible.
I just like, man, I know the smell and they're got to be crazy. Like that, if anything ever smelled like ball sweat, it's the moment that picture encapsulates.
Nice. Speaking of ball sweat, YouTube user Dawson Family says 2 months ago, reminds me of the Benny Babies.
Does anyone spell anything right in this comment section?
It's so scary.
Really frightening.
It doesn't say Beanie Babies. It says Benny Babies.
Ron
Which just makes me imagine
Benny Babies. I can't.
Like if Ron Jeremy had Benny Babies, they'd be Benny Hill.
That's the name of the episode. The Ron Jeremy's Benny Babies.
I hate that. I hate
so good.
It makes
so
me
good.
feel like I covered in grease.
Gravy.
Yeah.
Makes me feel like I'm in quicksand. Yummy.
There we go.
Ooh, let's pitch that idea to the fucking compound in Arkansas. Gravy quicksand.
Oh, I love that.
Wow.
I would jerk off to somebody sinking into gravy for
You
sure.
know what? I jerk off to you jerking off to someone jerking off in quicksand gravy.
Look at that support.
You know what? That's what bros do for each other.
I'll be the damsel in distress, just slowly drowning.
Thank you.
Oh God.
In the
Perfect.
gravy,
There we go.
You know,
We've got a whole scene here. This is so good. Speaking of scenes, YouTube user Deadliest Couch says 2 months ago, Crocs are worn by 3 people. People who work in the medical field, prisoners, KKK.
wow.
Oddly enough, I've been all 3, and I've never worn Crocs.
Wow.
Yeah, I just love how like the gigantic swing that takes at the end. Like,
I wasn't expecting that.
He wasn't expecting that.
I thought he was gonna go with restaurant workers, but
yeah, I know, right? You could go with like children, maybe
People on the beach.
Yeah. Poolside.
Nope. Racists. Only racists love these.
So good. So good. Love it. YouTube user Dylan So Beautiful says 2 months ago, child molester shoes.
Oh.
Laugh emoji.
I don't know. No, definitely not. Child molesters wear Skechers.
Wow.
Because they're sketchy.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Obviously.
But also, like, Skechers are such, like, a weird, unassuming dad shoe. And, like, you know, you never assume the guy who's a child molester. And so he's wearing, like, very dad shoes. Either Skechers or, like, the slightly more practical, like, Air Monarchs by Nike, which are, like, very iconic dad shoes. Like...
I don't
dads,
care.
camp counselors.
Yeah, no, I mean, if we're talking about child molester footwear, I think you should care, Spenser.
Okay, whoa.
Well, listen.
I gotta know the signs.
Yeah, like, if you're gonna bring it up, be prepared. Why didn't you fucking research this, dog?
Yeah, clearly I should be more on top of it.
Oh. Yeah, like fucking croc wearers are on top of children.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we're gonna end things today, or end this segment today with a statement from the Britain Void.
Oh, should I play the theme song?
No, you shouldn't play the theme song. Don't.
Play the theme song.
You can play the theme song.
You know what? Since you allowed me this time, I'm not gonna play it.
Fuck off. Okay, so on July 20th, 2019, At 7:06 p.m., you texted me, "So I wrote a script about a musician who is cursed with maybe the greatest songwriting ability of all time, but is so tone deaf nobody can understand what he's playing. But then I saw there's tons of movies about Bob Dylan already."
Statements from the Bucket Boy.
Wow.
I actually like that.
That was a great...
Sometimes I'm ashamed of my tweets
Yeah, I like that you think of the things you text me as tweets, because sometimes you do just text me things that I'm like, that's a tweet.
Before I used Twitter, honestly, I just unloaded all of my jokes on you.
That's true.
Or my brother.
That's true.
Because I'm like, this is the only dumb motherfucker who will get this, but now I have over 100 dumb motherfuckers who get it.
Love that.
And over 3,000 on fucking Instagram. Yay.
We love that. It's so good.
We love dumb motherfuckers.
We do.
Who find our dumb shit funny.
Speaking of dumb motherfuckers, Brit, this is the part of the show where we...
That was the best segue you've ever done, Spenser. Use that one every time.
Okay. This is the part of the show where we each recommend something, share something with the world that we're like, hey, you should check out, you should experience, you should do.
Yeah.
Britt, do you have anything to recommend?
Yeah. So I'm going to kick it off this week. Now, every other week, the recommendation that we do on here becomes our next special episode.
That's true. So it's your turn now to determine our next special episode.
Brought my recommendation of what we're doing for our next special episode.
Do tell.
So for our next special episode, you get to choose either Garfield's Big Fat Hairy Joke Book or Garfield's Insults, Put Downs, and Slams.
My favorite two books ever written.
And you will assemble all of your favorite jokes from here, and for 1 hour, we're going to tell Garfield jokes, insults, put downs, and slams to one another.
Okay.
We're going to spend an hour of our lives doing that.
Sounds perfect.
But
Yeah.
several hours preparing for it.
That's great. I love that, Britt.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yep.
For recommending that.
You're welcome.
Breck, do you have anything to recommend?
Okay, so I thought that you meant like music.
Oh,
no,
music?
no, please, no.
We
recommend
totally.
music all the time.
Yeah, we recommend music all the time.
Recommend. So
What you got?
I recommend the band Hüstler,
Hüstler.
Okay.
New York.
I'm not familiar with them.
Like Larry Flint's Hüstler?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly like
it's
that,
Hüstler with
apparently.
an umlaut.
No,
Hüstler with an umlaut. It's
Nice.
a hardcore band, like kind of death rocky with some metal riffs.
Nice.
All right. I'm in. That sounds tight. Do they have like a new record out or something like that? We should check
Yeah,
out?
but I forgot what it's
That's tight.
That's cool.
really.
We'll add it to the show notes.
Yeah, I will.
I'll send you their.
Britt will add it to the
You
show
don't add
notes.
shit to the show notes, Doc.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
They're fun. They're
Excellent.
New York, so that's my recommendation. Did you want something else? I mean, I rediscovered
No.
Nutritional Yeast. I've been eating.
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
recently.
Nooch is tight. Yeah.
Forgot about
yeah,
it
no,
for like 2 years. I'm
It's
back.
so good.
I'm
So
back.
nutritional yeast is so good.
I'm back
So
on the yeast.
One of my favorite things, to use it for, you gotta put it in sauces.
Oh, yeah.
If you're making a vegan sauce, putting it in there adds like a boldness and a
Wow.
cheesiness and like a saltiness. It adds a lot of body that you would never get.
I just put it in
I used
chili.
to work. Yeah, I used
Yeah,
to
nice.
be a sous chef at Whole Foods for years, and we would use that in like literally half of our sauces.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like,
I believe that.
makes a great sauce.
Mhm.
Also,
Believe that.
put that shit on popcorn. It's delicious.
Yes.
Yeah. Spenser, what do you got to recommend up in this?
Oh my gosh. I have 2 recommendations this week.
No.
Can you believe it?
That's too many.
I know, but I got important shit. Okay, two recommendations this week. The first one is a podcast, which you should all check out, and that is the Always Sunny podcast. So,
yeah, that just started.
they just started doing a podcast where they are rewatching their show. It's Rob McElhenney, Glenn Howerton, and Charlie Day.
Yeah.
And they're rewatching their own show and then just talking about each episode for a half an hour.
That's actually really fun. Yeah.
They're very funny. Like if you like that show, like if you don't like that show, you're not gonna like this. But if you do, I think they're pretty funny. And their podcast is really funny and good. And also like it's there's very little structure to it, which is great because like sometimes they're just like sharing stories about like what it was like to make it, and then other times they're just like like there's an episode where they're like, hey, when was the first time you got drunk? And then they just talk about that for half an hour. It's cool. I like good. That. It's really funny. I would highly recommend it.
They're obviously three very funny guys, very good writers. Like, you know, honestly, three of the most successful indie comedians today.
Probably.
Yeah, like those guys came.
I mean, they're comedy people.
Yeah, you know, comic figures. Like they came out of nowhere. Like they independently produced their own shit, and you know they made their own way, and it's fucking awesome. Like
pretty tight. So I big recommend to that. Check that out. Super funny.
Number two
is on Hulu. There's a documentary series called The Curse of Von Dutch. That is about the Von Dutch brand.
The Von Dutch.
The fucking trucker hats. Have you watched this?
No, but I am going to.
Dude,
this is exactly what I want to watch.
Dude, the theme song for the show is Butterfly by Crazy Town.
Of course
like
it is.
Of course it is, right?
Yeah.
Like Can I tell you a joke I just made based on this?
Yes.
Please.
What's the difference between no, that doesn't make any sense.
Okay. Get back to us.
Perfect. Yeah. Come back to us after you've done the math. But
it's not divisible by 3. I can't do it.
But like, so I put this on a whim when I came home drunk after hanging out with you the other day, and I watched it, and it was like, it's really fun because it's partly just like early 2000s nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like super like nostalgia for early 2000s, which is really fun. And then the other part of it is like a genuinely compelling story that they tell about this brand that is insane. It's very good.
Amazing.
Watch it. It's great.
Do you remember the bags? It wasn't just the hats. They had these heinous bags. They were like bowling bags.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why? It was crazy. I can't wait to watch
so
this.
bad. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Exactly. Yes. Watch it. It's amazing. So good. It's time for my favorite segment of the show, which is bucket jokes, which is where we tell jokes.
Ha 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 bucket joke. Ha 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 bucket joke. Ha 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 bucket joke. Ha 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 bucket joke.
So before we get started, I I asked Breck if she'd be willing to do a 5-minute set.
I'd love that.
So I guess now you got to figure out in what order y'all are going, because Brit has a set as well. Who's opening for who? How we doing that?
It's up to you. Do you want me to warm up for you?
Up to me?
You want me to warm up the crowd? You mean Spenser?
I truly don't care. So you decide.
Well,
I'm just a
how about
guess.
this?
You decide.
Your choice, Spenser.
So I'll go first because I only have one joke.
Okay.
And then it'll be Brit, and then it'll be Breck.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I only have one joke because I only wrote one joke this week. Okay. A friend asked me the other day if I listened to the band Him, and I said, yeah, I love that guy.
Wait, did you just gender that band?
Oh, canceled.
Yeah, that's my whole joke. Here we go. That's up to you, Brit.
Alrighty. What do a nice IPA and a kangaroo on MySpace have in common? A robust hop profile.
Fuck you.
I told that.
You told that joke earlier.
But I made it better, right? I think robust really makes it a better joke. They say forgive and forget, but if someone with a Boston accent says it to me, I say, what the fuck did you just call me?
All right.
You know, being a trans woman is all about rocks. Either you're into healing crystals, diamonds, crack cocaine, or Ruby on Rails.
Whoa.
What do Gene Simmons' penis, legendary Kiss bassist and vocalist Gene Simmons' penis...
Like, you need to clarify who Gene Simmons is.
We had no idea, so thank you.
We didn't know.
I need to give you penis context. What do legendary Kiss bassist and singers Gene Simmons' penis and every single D-Beat mixtape have in common? Discharge.
It sucks.
I know it sucks. Yeah, it must suck. Yeah. A friend of mine recently told me he unexpectedly came into a lot of money. I told him, I hope you don't plan on spending that and making people touch it. That's gross, dude.
I thought the same thing as soon as you said it.
It's a weird phrase, right? Which is
it came into a lot of money.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was trying to share some music files with Spenser the other day, and he suggested Google Drive. I said, Google Drive? No, I've seen it. Ryan Gosling's a fucking babe.
It's barely a joke. That's a statement.
it made a great tweet. What do punk saxophonists masturbate to? Hardcore Zorn. I'm glad hanging with Mr. Cooper was about a basketball coach and not autoerotic asphyxiation.
Okay.
I had a threesome with this 2-piece punk band that was also a couple, so I guess that's the 7-inch split you kept asking for.
I'm not sure I understand that joke.
It's math. We don't understand.
Splitting my 7-inch penis.
2 ways.
Yeah, 2 ways. It's a 2-piece punk band.
Okay.
Kurt Cobain said God is gay, but if that were true, I don't think we would have dirty straight dudes like Kurt Cobain. Green Day's 7th album is called American Idiot, which is what they are for not calling it Green Week.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I don't do it doggy style anymore because I'm afraid a cop will shoot me. What do iconic punk bands and $3,000 dresses have in common? Vivienne Westwood manufactures both of them.
I don't know who that is.
She basically helped create the Sex Pistols.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Watch. What is the Great Punk Heist? Great film. Great film.
Okay.
What does $1 beer night in West Virginia and R. Kelly's house have in common? Miners full of piss.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
How do... No. The band Fish is a psyop by Big Corporate Balloon.
That's true. Big Balloon. Definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm going to finish on this Thanksgiving joke. What's the difference between Spenser and a Thanksgiving turkey?
Tell me more.
Well, I usually stuff the turkey before it gets baked. That means I'm going to fuck you after you get high, though.
Really good. Thanks, Brit. Thanks for your jokes. They were good.
All right. It's you're up, Breck.
Okay. Well, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You as well.
Okay, so a few years ago, I was at home for Thanksgiving, and I was at a bar, and I was at the bar next to this bro, and I made him laugh really hard, and he was like, he turned to his friend and was like, "She's funny," and then he turned back to me and goes, "Lesbian?" And I was like, yeah, let's just go with that. But it's fine. Okay, and then the other day on Instagram, this guy commented on a picture of me, and he was like, "You look like a 12-year-old boy." And like, I know that he was trying to insult me, but I was like, "Sir, I'm bisexual. This is the highest form of praise."
Exactly.
or if you were Greek.
Yeah. Or that. Sir, I'm Greek. Everyone wants to fuck me. But okay, I'm used to men commenting on my appearance. It doesn't really like shake me, but now that everyone's trying to be woke, there's a second part. So like the first guy's like, "Are you in a band? You look like a hot rocker chick," or like something like that, but then another guy comes up and he's like, "Hey, does that bother you?" when guys like comment on your appearance like that. And I'm like, not really, but you pretending to care. This
it's weird.
Is new.
Yeah.
And this does bother me. But yeah, so I don't know if you know, I'm a teacher. And I'm sexually dominant, so I'm constantly looking for subs. So okay, so I teach adults how to speak English, and I also prepare them to take the U.S. citizenship test. So I teach a lot of like history and stuff. So one of my students asked me, "Teacher, who killed Martin Luther King?" And very calmly, without skipping a beat, I said, "Oh, the CIA." And my student was like, "What? Are you serious? I thought it was just some random guy." And I was like, hold on a second. Did a little Googling. I was like, okay, listen. That's not the answer on the citizenship test. But I'm teaching you the truth.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So I literally yesterday ordered Codename Zorro, which is the book that was written by a lawyer and one of Martin Luther King Jr.'s friends about how the FBI conspired to kill him.
Yeah.
I've been going down a deep path on this.
I mean, the CIA already admitted it. Didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and there was basically a kill King squad in the FBI that was trying to either like discredit him or get him to kill himself.
Yeah. Trying to get him to kill himself. I'm like, oh my God.
That's all
terrible.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. This is,
hitting way too close to home here, lady.
Right? But yeah, so I'm a teacher. So a lot of guys to hit on me, they're like, "Oh, you're a teacher, that's so hot, like sexy teacher, I want to role play with you." And I'm like, okay, so you would be my student and I would be myself at my actual job.
Sounds so good. Yeah.
Not how role playing works, buddy. Okay. I've been
Oh, I'm so sorry. I gotta interrupt. I have had like people talk to me about that with what I do too, because I do like tech support stuff.
Geek Squad.
Sure. Let's say I work at the Geek Squad.
Okay.
I say you do.
But like I do like tech support stuff. And so like I've had people I've been dating be like, "Oh, well, what if like I came in and I was like a problem customer?"
Broken.
Yeah, and like that was like a thing and I was like, "Yeah, so I'm fucking just me doing my fucking dumbass job. Like fuck off. It sucks. Like I hate this idea so much. It's not fun."
How does that work into sex at all? Like
it doesn't.
My screen doesn't have cracks on it anymore. Maybe we should have sex here in front of my coworkers.
Like,
what the fuck,
like,
lady? Like,
I will get fired.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Well, okay, so I've been meaning to tell you this. So yesterday I was making a study guide for one of my classes. They're reading The Little Prince and we're like doing vocabulary. And so I pick out vocabulary words and then I give an example sentence using the word, and the word was extraordinary. And I was like so brain dead at this point. My sample sentence was, "Buckethead is an extraordinary guitarist."
Yeah.
He has recorded over 300 albums. And so all my
So good.
It was really good.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so we talked about how I'm sober, and so a lot of times people that I've known for a long time, when I tell them I'm in AA, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that you had a problem." And I'm like, "Oh, I never mentioned Xanax wine." Which is, where you just crush up Xanax and put it in Yellowtail. It's like a morning drink. I don't.
Yeah, no, as you do.
As you do. But okay, so one time my friend and I drank a bunch of Xanax wine, and then we went on a nature walk. And so while we were on the walk, we collected all of the snails that we found, and we put them on one rock together. And then I know, so cute, right? And so we like took a step back, and my friend turned to me and was like, "You know, these snails are gonna have a really good time because of us." And like it would be so innocent, you know, if we hadn't roofied ourselves when we're doing that. But I think, do you want me to keep going? I feel like
I'm really enjoying all of this. If you want to,
this is already the funniest episode we've already had just by you being here. So
thank you. Yes,
keep at it.
We're grateful.
We advertise as a comedy podcast, and you're the only one making that true. So.
Ain't that the truth? We love that.
You know, I'll listen to Buckethead albums for you anytime that you want me to.
Namaste.
Just not for the next like 10 episodes.
Yeah, no. Unless you want to have more weird noise conversations.
I know,
like,
right?
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean,
we could do
when you
more.
think about it, man,
I think
every conversation's a weird noise conversation.
Wow. I think you should do a special episode just about the quicksand. I'm just saying.
You know what? You're totally right.
You know, actually, if you would be willing, we could have you on for an episode where we just talk about the quicksand fetish forums.
I would love that more than anything.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have something burning inside that needs to come out. Like in long form podcast for
this whole time.
I've got something in mind that needs to come out over someone that's struggling in quicksand.
Yeah, hell yeah. Increase that ratio 2 to 98.
Oh my god!
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Ratio that quicksand, baby.
Okay. Back to jokes.
We'll set that up.
Okay. Have either of you ever worked a corporate job before?
Yes.
No.
How did that work out?
My current job is a corporate job
for the Geek Squad.
Oh, right, Geek Squad. Okay, yeah.
You should be
Geek
thankful
Squad.
you're not on the Greek Squad. I'm touching little.
He's not 12. He can't be on the Greek Squad.
Oh shit! Oh no! Oh no! Amazing.
Okay, I had a corporate job. I honestly, I don't know how I got it. This was like the Xanax wine days, like things just happened to me and I can't.
Just magic happens.
That's
like,
how you got it. Like that's everyone in a corporate.
I know, right? I mean, I was like,
for real though.
I was a sweetheart on Xanax wine. Like usually it was either like super nice, like snail party, or it was like break all my furniture.
Sometimes you got it. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Xanax wine turns you into like a really spooky mystical witch, and there's two sides of that for sure. There's like the nature worship, but there's also the
destruction.
The occasional blood spells.
Yeah.
It's when the Daedra comes out.
The day drinking Daedra.
Okay, so I had this corporate job, and I got fired for corporate theft.
Sick.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting. How does that work?
So my boss calls me into his office. His name was Luigi. He's from Bensonhurst. He has this like thick Italian accent. I can't handle any of this. So he calls me into his office. He's like, Breck, what are all these charges on your corporate card? And I was like, I don't know shit I needed. Why did you give me a credit card? Like, why am I even here? Like, I don't know. And he's like, you're stealing. This is corporate theft. And I was like, that's not a thing. And he was like, what are you talking about? You're stealing money from the company. And I was like, workers can't steal from a corporate entity. Like, I'll leave, but like, you're not going to get me to say that, so that was pretty good. I mean, I was like, listen, it's not like, what's next? Are you going to try to convince me that the economy is real? Like, I'm not an idiot. Like, come on.
So sober moment here. Corporate wage theft is 5 times all other property theft combined in the United States.
That's true.
That's almost $1 trillion a year is stolen from workers.
I know. I wish I'd stolen more from them.
Yeah.
I was like, my only regret is that I didn't steal more.
You got it.
Yeah.
No, At least
You-
like
you know
a few
what's
$1,000s. You know, I'm like, we could have.
My only regret is I had yet one corporate credit card to spend.
You know what's like what's like the best green flag for me when I'm like talking to somebody that I'm interested in is if I say like, hey, here's some stuff that I stole from Whole Foods. And they say
that's sick.
And they say hot.
Yeah, right?
That's what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
That's what I'm looking for.
Like, let's
That's
fucking
energy.
steal together.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, one time I was in Whole Foods and this woman came up to me and she was like, I just want to tell you, the white woman, she's like, I just want to tell you I'm a shaman. And you have incredible energy. She was like, I'm a shaman. You just have amazing energy.
She wanted your pussy.
And
Pussy.
then I bought $300 of groceries on my corporate credit card.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. So this one time I was in Whole Foods for almost 5 years working a job there. It destroyed my soul.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, say that again?
One time I was in Whole Foods for almost 5 years working jobs there, and it destroyed my soul.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah,
being in there
that'll
for more
fuck
than
you up.
15 minutes is like really...
It's a bad time. No, being in there really at all. Like,
Even
it's a
the
bad
parking
time,
lot.
Like, no, I have gotten in 3 fucking car accidents in the fucking Whole
No
Foods parking
way.
lot because it's always like it's always
Yeah.
these motherfuckers that like
I'm not surprised.
will be backing out at the same time as you and you like can't fucking see them and it's just like dumb shit. I had this one guy try to tell me that like I scratched his car and I was like, you realize that my bumper hit you, it hit you right here and like the scratch is up here. That couldn't have been my car because that's not how physics work. And he was like, yeah, I don't know, man. I got to get a quote on this. And I was like, all right, man, for sure. Here's my information. When the fucking auto shop laughs you out of the building for this tiny scratch, like, fucking let me know. Like, you dumbass. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's a dark place. It's a dark place.
Dude.
It is.
Hate Whole Foods, man.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Well,
It's fucking Mordor,
Whole
man.
Foods is the corporate office of grocery stores. You know what I mean? Like it's
So
like a
maybe I did have
similar
a corporate job
experience.
for a long time.
I would say it counts.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the
It counts,
I mean, I was
yeah.
a sous chef and
sucking,
cook,
like in the trying to get you. Like my boss one time, he was like, Breck, I know that this is not your life calling and that like you're too smart to be here. And he was like, but you need to at least pretend a little bit to drink the Kool-Aid. And I was like, sir, I'm a comedian, not an actress. Like, I can't do that.
Instead of the Kool-Aid, you drank the the wine with Xanax.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, Xanax wine.
Kool-Aid,
There you go.
sir.
Like-
I've been blacked out on Xanax wine since the day I walked in the building.
You've got the white lady lean, baby.
Right?
There you
I
go.
know.
There you go.
So funny.
That's a joke.
But okay, one other weird thing when I worked in the office is that okay, so my best friend is a cis gay man and we look really good together. And all my coworkers in the office like really wanted us to be a real couple for some reason. And they were like really locked onto this idea and they were like, you guys should really be dating. And I was like, he's gay. And they're like, yeah, but like it's a spectrum. And I'm like, you're on a spectrum? Like, I don't know. He's gay. Like, what do you want me to do about
Like,
this? Homosexual. And they were like, okay. And then one of my coworkers, he was like, well, have you like tried seducing him? And I was like,
you mean raping
yeah.
him?
I was like, no, I haven't. He goes, have you tried cupping his balls?
Whoa, that's a really spicy move.
Yeah,
like,
obviously,
I can't imagine like
straight married white man. No one else would say something so insane, so casual.
like I can't even imagine like if a person came up to me and like gently cupped my balls, I would be
alarming.
I would be like, what is happening right now? Like, what is going on?
Right?
If it was a good friend, you knew for a long time.
It also
I wouldn't-
makes it sound like you're coming from behind. You know what I mean?
like,
So
and, like
that's
sneaking in there, like really, like
scary.
Grabbing. Yeah.
Wait. Do you think it's between the legs from behind or
that's
around?
what I
to reach
imagine
around?
because he's like.
That's extra weird.
It's really weird.
Maybe
that's like a.
That's like how wolves try to kill each other.
Right? I'm like, this
yeah.
doesn't seem like it would be effective. But I'm like, okay, so glossing over the fact that ball cupping is your thing, which I did not want to know. I'm like, you're sexually harassing me at work, telling me to sexually assault my best friend to turn him straight so that we can date each other. Like,
that's so heavy. Like, there's so many layers.
There's so many layers.
So many.
Like,
it's like ogres, like Cool Shrek.
Yeah.
Honestly,
you know, it's the layers.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. If they did it in a funny way, they could have killed that. That's a great multi-level.
I know, right? It's
there.
a good bit. I'm like, that's what gay conversion therapy is. You just walk in the door, they cup your balls. You're out of there.
Just from behind, they're just like, oh, you like women. It's a By the way, the person behind you is a woman, not a man.
Not a man.
All right, you're straight
now.
That's what happens. That's how it works. That's just science. Like, chill out. It's just science.
Yeah,
it's
science.
Yeah, amazing.
Okay, I'll tell you one more thing.
Yes.
Did you hear about the guy who shot his doctor because he came during his prostate exam?
Yes, I did hear about that.
Okay.
Fucking insane.
Can you imagine being so ungrateful?
I know. I know.
Should have turned around and sucked his doctor's dick.
Yeah.
Like,
or at least cupped his balls. Fuck.
Exactly. He deserved that. I mean, come on.
Now you're straight, doc. Wait, no.
I'm not gay.
Wait, does it, can you just like switch each time, like when a different gender grabs your balls from behind?
I think so.
Do you like switch your sexuality?
I think that's how it works.
And then if an NB does it, then you're suddenly bisexual?
Yeah.
It's like a game of tag, basically.
Oh,
yeah. It's like whoever ball taps you, you know.
Whoever ball taps you instantly want to fuck.
Yeah, that's just how it works.
I mean, we don't make the rules.
Exactly.
We're
just here to report them.
You know, nature makes the rules.
Nature makes the rules.
So.
Yeah, it's like a relay race of homosexuality.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Passing it on.
Bucket joke.
Hey, that's our podcast.
That's the show.
Yay!
We did it.
Hey,
We
that
made
was
it to the end.
fun.
Hey, Breck, where can we find you online and follow you and laugh at your funny jokes?
God. Okay, so it's cool Shrek memes. K-E-W. God, it's so bad. KEWLSHREK memes.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be cool Breck, and then I was really high, and I made it cool Shrek.
Yes.
And then my friends
does.
wanted me to put my memes up, so then I made the meme page, and then here we are, Cool Shrek memes. I'm Cool Shrek everywhere. Cool Shrek on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah. You got that username locked down.
Cool Shrek is locked down. Cash App, Cool Shrek.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah. Donate. Do it.
If you want to donate to my ESL organization, I give free classes to immigrants who are learning English, and I employ other people, and that's how I pay them is from donations because the students don't pay. And that's really all I have to plug. Oh, my comedy show is Pure Chaos Comedy.
Hell yeah. And that happens in New York?
That happens in New York. I have a movie night where my co-host and I talk over movies like Mystery Science Theater style. And then I do a monthly stand-up show as well.
Hell yeah. Check it out. Spenser, where can we find you?
Go to my website, spenser.zone, SPENSER.ZONE.
That's Spenser as in Spencer for hire, not Spencer.
Correct. Thank you for the clarification. It's important. Yeah, that's got all my links there. You can check out all my dumb stuff. Brit, what about you?
Purple link those babies. You can find me at Dog Vorbis on most things, or just join us on most socials at a Bucketcast. I check stuff pretty regularly. I will argue with you and block you.
It's true.
If you say really anything to me that's not completely positive.
Like literally during the pre-show, like I had a stream of your iPad screen on the screen of my computer, and you were literally blocking people. Like and I was
just one guy.
I was like, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, but anyways, hey,
I've been Britain,
and this has been Spenser.
I'm Breck.
You've been listening to Gettin' Head, a Bucketcast.
Stay greasy, Bucketheads.
Namaste.